Hello guys, I'm gonna do a slightly different video concept today. Today it's gonna be kicks and 808s that clash with each other and how to fix it. Now this is a very common problem for producers. I see a lot of times that there's producers that can get a kick to hit hard and an 808 to really saturate and sound good. But the problem is that they're not able to mix them together. So you can see here, all I'm gonna do is assign this 808 to a new mixer track. And now this is the first example of a kick and 808 that are not hitting together well. Now for different samples, there's different things you have to do, but there's also many similar concepts between them. So this is the first. As you can hear there, the kick and the 808 just do not get along at all. Now, the first thing you may want to consider here is the fact that the 808 is too loud relative to the kick. Now, you are not supposed to do that. The 808 is supposed to be softer than the kick normally, so already some of that interference is gone because the kick is hitting harder than the 808 as it should. The kick is supposed to hit harder. Now, next thing you're supposed to do is using EQ. You want to EQ away the lows from the kick. As you can hear right here. And you want to EQ the highs out of the 808. So like this. As you can see, this results in a much cleaner kick 808 interaction. Another thing is you want to lower the volume of both, but especially the 808. Now another thing you can do is to pitch the kick slightly differently. Now see how the kick and 808 interact better now? Now a final thing you can do is to use a compressor. So you can compress out some of the mids. You don't want the lows to be compressed in the 808, but you can compress out some of the mids right here. As you can see, and now you can compress out some of the lows from the kick. So let's find the compressor. You can compress out some of the lows from the kick, and then adjust for some volume. Maybe make the compressor a little bit less of a send. Then see how this hits perfect? It's fixed. Okay, now the next one is another pair of kicks and 808s that just do not get along. Now in this case, the kick is way too punchy. So the best way to fix this kick is to use a transient shaper. Now this is my favorite transient shaper, so let me tell you what I do. I take some of the punchiness away from the kick. So you just lower the volume, you saturate slight mids, you basically make the lows a little bit less, so it's less punchy. See how that sounds flatter than it was initially? So because it's a punchy 808 and a punchy kick, what's happening is they're both interfering with one another. Now with the 808, you want to reduce the volume of, you want to reduce the mids basically. You want to cut the mids in the EQ. And see, now it works. But now one thing you can also do to try to increase the contrast here . Okay, so now it's volume adjusted, which is another important thing. This one, it really didn't matter that the 808 was kind of louder because they're both punchy enough to the fact that they kind of blend in almost, but The number one thing you can do here is to add a soft clipper to the kick. Either you could use a soft clipper or the hard clipper. I'm just going to use a soft clipper, and see, now that combination works now compared to what it was like before. And now the third option is this pair. Now, as you can see, they're both very like squelchy sort of sounds. This kick inside has way too much bass included with it, so what you should do is filter out the lows from the kick. So first get rid of the 808 so you can hear what the now this is all you need. You don't need any remainder of that bass. And now you want to reduce the lows in the kick, like just slightly. You want to just create like a little bit of a shelf here, and just so that it does not interfere with the 808. We don't want to get rid of the lows. They're very important to us, and now in the 808, this one is a little bit of a long 808. Maybe we'd want to shorten that a little bit, you know? Now let's listen to it. See how that fits better? Now we got to reduce the volume of the 808 in comparison to the kick. And now you want to cut some mids from this 808. Yeah, cut out all the mids actually. So like maybe create like a high shelf, like a high pass here, or low pass, I mean. Now they pair perfectly. See, now they pair perfectly. Now one thing you can do is to soft clip the kick. Once again, soft clipper adds strength to the kick. To the 808 it'll just butcher it a bit, but it'll add strength to the kick, because kicks are very hard to begin with, because it places a huge emphasis on that initial transient, which it won't do for an 808. So now you can listen to it and see what you think. Now it may need a little bit of a filter too, like I actually think this 808 needs a little bit of wave shaper because the transients still collide a little bit. So see, now there's a little bit more of a gap between the transients of the kick and the 808. Now let's try to turn it up a little bit. You see how this could work in a song? This could work in a trap song, the two of these together. Okay, so that's my tutorial on how to make sure a kick does not clash with an 808. And another thing you guys may have to consider is that sample choice is everything. The three sets of samples that I picked are very similar to each other. If you pick samples that are different to each other and hit differently, you may only need to use volume in order to fix it. So once again, thanks for watching. You know, Hustlers Inc., we got the best tutorials on how to produce. Also got the best beats. You know, tell your friends. Go to hustlers.store. It's in the description, and you can buy beats. You may want to buy beats from us because, you know, we're going to be one of the top music brands. So once again, thank you so much for watching. You know, like and subscribe. I'm going to have plenty more of these tutorials coming for you, you know.